Hello everyone, I'm Master Kenneth, and this is DFW Texas Texicon 2015, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Palladium system. Palladium books was started by Kenneth in beta. To my knowledge, one of the first series of books was Advanced Recon, a military role-play game, followed later by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The system that was created, a die 20 for scoring initiative, resolving combat, percentile dice for skills and skill successes, as well as various other damage dice, is a system that has existed throughout Palladium's history. There have been some minor modifications and changes to it, but ultimately, once you know the dice system and the rules for the system, you can play in any of the genres provided. Palladium's Rifts was probably one of the biggest additions to their library, and most recently they've updated it again with the Rifts Ultimate, adding more and more information about the various occupational character classes, races, artwork additions, including new spells from various other source books. Most recently, for me anyway, they have released a pair of additions to the Northern Gun storyline, and Northern Gun is actually a mega corporation that exists on Rift's Earth, and they have their own city, their own infrastructure, and their own challenges. They produce weapons, power armor, and robots that are used throughout the Palladium world. In the first Northern Gun, you are going to encounter several new types of giant robots that are used for defense, that adventurers can actually have access to, piloting, and it's not just limited to one pilot. People who like to team their characters up can team up and co-pilot one of these giant robots, sharing the weapon systems and the workload, and yet at the same time combining all of their attacks into one unit.
Got a quick rules question for you on that. So theoretically, one player could be driving the robot and the other player could act as the gunner or something like that. Correct. And so you can it makes you more effective in that robot. Makes you more
effective. You're teaming up together. And I did make a mistake. The Northern Gun, this is the Northern Gun 2, and it has the new power armors. The Northern Gun 1, has the giant robots.
What's the difference between power armor and a giant robot?
Power armor is usually a 6 to 9 foot tall suit of body armor that a character can wear. It enhances their physical abilities, gives them defensive armor, as well as usually built-in weapons, sometimes even the capability to fly, or at the very least, extended leaping. A robot unit is generally 10 to 22 to 30 feet tall and can have more than one pilot. In fact, many of them require two.
So a robot, if you're not familiar with the Palladium universe, you might think of a robot as a mecha.
Correct.
And not a autonomous robot walking around by itself, which also exists in the game.
Yes. In the Palladium system, you can also build a robotic character. My apologies, these are indeed more of a mecha-type situation. One of the things that I'm going to point out real quick about Palladium books is that the quality of their book printing is evident in sturdiness.
They hold up very well. Yes. I have old Palladium books that have not fallen apart.
I've had third edition books, more recent edition gaming books fall apart faster than these. The other one that is new for us is the DBs of North America. One of the great things about the Rifts universe is that I have not found anything that someone has mentioned that we cannot create in the Rifts universe. If you want to play a living cactus man, there are stats for it. If you want to play some sort of completely unusual alien race creature, multiple limbs with an unusual headline, you can do it.
Dimensional being is what DB is short for, and that's something that has come through one of the magical rifts that is opened on Earth.
Correct. I'm going to finish up on that one with the fact that I've had recently bronies who are the fans of My Little Pony have asked me at one point in time, is it possible using the Palladium system to create a My Little Pony role-play game to do? And as a matter of fact, yes, there is in one of the books, New West, which is about Texas and the West in this post-apocalyptic setting. There is indeed a sentient psionic-using horse that can be used as a template for those My Little Ponies, and they loved it. I'm going to move on to one of the new hits, and it's the Dead Rain. This is Palladium's zombie apocalypse take, and it is pretty much George Romero, end of the world, zombies rising from the dead, people rising from the dead as zombies, and the end of the world to it and trying to survive through it. One of the twists that they put on here, of course, is that simply getting bit does not transform you into a zombie. It takes a certain stage of events, infection, actual body death, for an individual to be turned into a zombie.
One of the things, we've played Dead Rain. Tabletop Generals has played Dead Rain with our play group, and we really liked it. One of the things that I really like about Dead Rain is every conceivable movie zombie is in it.
Correct.
And so, if you wanted to play a straight sort of Walking Dead TV show zombie game, you could by simply using only those zombies. If you want to go more Night of the Living Dead, where the zombies are intelligent and they can talk, you've got that. You've got every single kind of zombie imaginable is in it, and you don't have to use them all.
And within the Rifter magazines, they give you alternatives to the classic, okay, this is a biological infection. They give you different options that this is actually the result of magic being used to curse the planet. There's also zombies that shove pieces of metal into their body or wear pieces of metal, cars, hubcaps, whatever, and it makes them much harder to kill because it's harder to get that headshot past whatever metal they've built up on their body.
That's kind of like if you've seen Return of the Living Dead 3, I believe, where so that's a great zombie universe, and we loved playing in it because simply you can go to any zombie trope you want to.
Correct.
And you can also discard the ones that you don't like.
Yes.
So we were playing where it was the traditional you get bit, you die, and then you come back, and you can certainly adapt the rules however you want. The setting is there.
You can, in all games, I tell people, take what you want. Use what you want. Do not worry about the rest of it. There are two current expansions that we have. Fear the Reaper, which is a resource for more character types and zombie fighting. And then Endless Dead talks about what's happening in other countries around the world with the zombie apocalypse.
And there are, I think, 5 or 6 supplements out currently total right now. There's one about the military bases and what happened in the military. There's one about more human opponents.
And the Rifter magazines have several articles in them scattered throughout the most recent ones that pertain to Dead Rain. I want to touch base with a game that was reprinted. This is Beyond the Supernatural. It's the supernatural horror game. Of course, if you boil any kind of horror genre down, it's gonna come down to H.P. Lovecraft and Mary Shelley. So you have a lot of that elder god horror. You have ancient evil. You even have alien intelligences and aliens from outer space. And these are the individuals that end up dealing with them, or as the common quote from Hellboy, we are the things that bump back against those that go bump in the night.
So you could also run sort of a Men in Black or X-Files type game. Small town being attacked by some unholy thing.
Exactly. And it has all the information for creating not only the psychic characters, but also normal individuals, they get caught up in this situation. So this is, if you're looking for a horror genre game, this is the one that we have found works the best. And I've run a lot of Call of Cthulhu, and when I choose to do a Cthulhu-style game, this is the system I turn to. This is also the system that I turn to if I want to roll a Call of Cthulhu Tech, which is one of the most recent Call of Cthulhu genres. I want to stop by one more hidden gem that people may not have read much about, and this is the Splicers universe. This is mankind fighting against the super machine for their lives and being equipped with bio-organic armor or physically transformed into almost what we consider human monsters. So to fight the monsters of the machine, we make the monsters. Once again, a post-apocalyptic setting. The humans are driven underground and living in houses.
So a la the Terminator or the Matrix or something? Any of those where the machines have taken over?
Right, but take Terminator, and if you know about the Guyver anime or Magma, that's what you're looking at. Bio-booster armor fighting machines. I'm going to go over some role-play aids for people. I'm going to start with Beyond the Supernatural. In it, proximity to supernatural evil increases characters' psychic abilities in increments of ×2, 4, 6, and 10. A lot of the confusion for this game came about with the GM would say this is a ×4 multiplier. Well, people would eventually get lost as the multipliers changed from encounter to counter. Make yourself a set. If you make yourself a set of discs or blocks like these, you can drop these on the middle of the table, and your players have something to visually reference. It has been said that in Palladium, using miniatures is just not feasible because in the sci-fi or the advanced games, you're dealing with ranges over 100 feet. For that, I suggest these are playing deck card photocopies of the various creatures in the Rift's world. And since everything is always moving in a combat, the plan is that you shift the cards over to the player that the monsters are engaging or that the player is engaging at that moment.
So this might be what shows up on its targeting computer or something like that.
Exactly, and that's what we were trying to mimic. There's a lot of confusion about dodging in the game as well. When you are attacked, you can have the option, if it's a melee attack, if you have an item, you can parry the attack. You can parry all day long. It does not really, it's a reflexive action. Dodging is something you have to focus an action into to perform. And there is confusion about it. Does it cost an attack? Does it lower the attacks? What are the penalties for if I'm dodging a bullet? If you create cards such as this with the information on it, as the player uses their dodge, you can stack it up so that they can see the number of attacks. And my suggestion is take these number of attacks off the end of the player's sequence of attacks. And with this, it will help your players to understand how much they have. The last item I want to go over as a suggestion for everyone. There's a lot of questions about the initiative and initiative sequence in Palladium games. It is not a sequence where when you win an initiative, you take all your actions, all your attacks. What it is initiative is rolled. The player with the highest initiative gains the number 1, then the next highest, the number 2, number 3, so on and so forth. After the initiative cards have been given, you begin with attack, action, or attack, or end attack.
So an action could be trying to open a door.
And once again, in Palladium, there's a lot that you can do in an action. And it is up to the game master to help you to figure out, okay, if I run and open the door, is that my complete action? My answer is no. If you run over and you open a door, that is just a simple thing. to open the door and then to see what's there and fire at it. At that point, that's your full action.
Now, how many seconds is an action supposed to represent?
The full melee round, that's when we go completely around the table and get everyone's actions performed, is 15 seconds.
So an action takes 15 seconds since they're all happening simultaneously.
And that 15 seconds is if all the players get 4 actions around. We start with number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, villains go. And then we go to attack action number 2. Everyone goes around the table, takes another action. Then attack action number 3. We go along around the table again. Everyone takes 1 action. All the way through however many actions or attacks the players or the creatures they're engaging in have.
And then you go on to the next round.
And then you go on to the next initiative, and that's the first 15 seconds of the battle. What that does is it allows everyone to have a chance to do something and engage in whatever situation is happening. Whether you're fighting a giant robot or you're chasing someone down, whether you are rushed for time because there's a bomb going to go off. This method allows every player to have a chance to be part of the action.
All right, Ken, I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk to Tabletop Generals today. We are at Texicon, and Ken is part of the Palladium Strike Team, and they are a fan-based group representing Palladium books. Ken has been great to Tabletop Generals this weekend, and he is just chock full of knowledge. And we hope to see him at future cons. So thank you very much, Ken.
You're very welcome. Thank you.